I'll take 2. George is assigning his autograph. He says, "I'm the man who created Buffy the Vampire Slayer." Damn it. Thank you.
Not quite
Don't say that.
But yeah, he's, as you see, artist for penciler Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 9 and season 8.
You're the man who is actually behind the look of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, arguably. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
How did you come to be in such a plum role?
Oh, are we interviewing?
Yes, we are.
I hate to tell this story and toot my own horn, but Joss
Toot your own horn. We'll toot your horn for you. Sorry, guys.
Joss is a huge comic book fan, and when it came time to carrying on the seasons of Buffy, he sat down with Dark Horse editor Scott Alley and said, "Well, you know what? I've got this guy in mind. I've seen him in other books." And this guy, Jeanty, I don't know him, but I really love his work. And Scott didn't know me as well, and they just contacted me out of the blue and said, "Hey, Joss Whedon wants you to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer." And of course I didn't believe him, because how many times has that happened?
Right.
And it got so to the point where I said to Scott, the editor, "If that's the case, have Joss Whedon himself get in touch with me." And sure enough, the next email was that.
How would you describe the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer? How do you
Intense. There are fans, obviously fans for everything.
Sure, right.
These fans have been so faithful, even now that Buffy's been off the air for 4 or 5 years, or 6, 7 actually. And the comic book has been going since then for 4 years, that they have not given up. They have not gone elsewhere. As soon as something Buffy authentically comes out, I think the fans, for the most part, are right there and support it and still love it. As most of the actors can attest, they're still doing signings and appearances as if the show were still going today.
No. And what year did you start with it?
I started it in the fall of 2006. It didn't come out until the spring of 2007, and it's been 4 years. It's been 40 issues and 4 years or so of the book, of season 8, I should say, coming out. Of which now season 9 comes out in September.
Can you give us a preview of what we're going to see in September?
Well, Buffy has moved over to she's been on the West Coast. She used to be in California, Sunnydale, California, which was always thought to be near LA. And now she's moved over to Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
All of the magic in the world is gone, and there is no more magic. Which, if anyone who knows Buffy knows that her best friend Willow was a big magician, and now that there is no more magic, Willow feels a little personal that Buffy has taken that away from her.
I always want to ask this question because of scenes I've seen. Is Buffy superhuman? Has she become that?
You know, it's funny. I wasn't really into the whole Buffy lore before I got into it, so that was one of the questions I asked Joss. Well, what is she? And of course, there's always the tale that she's a superhero. So I said, well, what level of superhero is she?
Right.
And he said, well, obviously she's not a Superman level or a Wonder Woman. Think more Spider-Man in that level. That she is stronger than the average person, but she is
How did she get that way?
Well, she is a Slayer, and apparently there is one in every generation that is called to this calling of protecting the world from demons and vampires and whatnot.
Hence the unusual strength.
And hence, once you are called, and it's basically a begotten thing that once somebody dies, somebody else takes up the mantle. You don't know who that is, so there are a lot of potential Slayers in the world, but only when the one Slayer currently dies can the potential Slayer who will become the Slayer become and be embodied and have all that strength. As many people know, though, in season 7, Buffy took it upon herself to take all of the potential Slayers, which were thousands, and actually give them her power. So for season 7 and for a lot of season 8, all of the Slayers.
Did that dilute herself?
No, it didn't dilute as much as it just expanded what she was, which of course.
Oh, it's like a franchise.
Exactly.
Yeah, franchise.
Which of course had consequences though, because she was mixing.
Henry, you can join us if you wish.
She was mixing with powers that she shouldn't have been mixing with, and I think a lot of season 8 dealt with the consequences of what she had done in season 7.
So, Where are you based out of, by the way?
I used to be out of Atlanta, and now I'm in LA.
How do you like the difference? What's the difference? Is there much of a difference?
Well, the weather, for one thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have never thought the weather would be so much better in LA than it is in Atlanta. So that, and then, I guess the scenery, given now that I'm on the West Coast as opposed to the East Coast, the scenery is very different. But it's a beautiful, beautiful state.
You have a website? How can we follow your work?
Yeah, I'm on kabalounge.com. It's a KABA lounge, LOUNGE.com, and I tell people to go there for all the ins and outs and upcoming. And
one question: are you tied with Josh just on Buffy, or is it anything else he does? Or
well, pretty much in the comic sense, Joss has just been doing Buffy. He did an X-Men run for a while, a few years ago. But my ties to him, yes, are just pretty much on the comic
I asked because he, for a time, had the rights to Wonder Woman.
He was asked, not necessarily the rights, but he was brought on as a director-writer.
Yeah. Were you involved in that in any kind of way?
No. It's funny, I was working with him at the time, and he had gotten that gig, which obviously fell through. But no, it wasn't something that was sort of mutually exclusive because it was a comic book property.
Interesting. Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it.